Okay, what's up, light blue? Coming at you here with the PARS label, the 3982 label here for forwarding. I got a request from some of my branch peeps on going over this just a little bit, so we're going to try and keep this short, sweet, and to the point. Keep this in the micro training realm. I'm going to come back to this stuff here. I've got some things that are highlighted here that are important. This is on postalmag.com. So you guys can go on there and you guys can check this out. This explains the label, the endorsements. These are the abbreviations. Most of you all should know them. They go off to the left-hand side of the address. For some of you guys that are regulars, you should probably take the time to do this for your, your CCAs or PTFs that aren't on the route all the time. You may know that it's 321 main instead of 123, but they may not. So take the time to mark it up right so that they can get it delivered where it needs to be. Section 24 of the M41 handbook covers undeliverable as address mail. Okay, PS Form 3575. Kind of highlighted something here. You know, when a customer moves and does not leave a forwarding order, the carrier must hold the customer's mail for up to 10 days. Okay, make sure you're doing that. This is the 3575. Now, I do not take these anymore. So what I do, though, is I still provide customer service. So I will bring these with me on the route. And when a customer wants to fill it out, I'll take the time to fill it out with them, because when I get back, I'm going to write that on my 3996. So provide that customer service out there. Don't be afraid to do that. Just make sure to answer, to put down what took you a little bit longer than what you planned on if you had to do that. So the reason I help them, I want to make sure they get everything correct, and then I want to have them set up for success. So I don't want to take it and stick it in the mail stream and then it get turned back because they didn't have their ID. So I tell them, after we get this completed, to take this with them into the post office with their ID and have them get that all situated. That way they're all done, they're on the up and up, and everything's good, and I've provided customer service from my standpoint for what I feel like I should be doing as a letter carrier. PS Form 3536. I have never used this, so I have no experience with this whatsoever. Looks like it's very similar. Anybody that knows something about this, chime in down there in the comments somewhere for somebody, in case your office does use these. We have here the next part of the M41, still in section 24, is explaining the use of the 3982. Says here, PS Form 3982 provides quick reference for carriers unfamiliar with customer removals from the route. Basically, PTFs, CCAs, maybe even a rotating regular that's given days off may not know all those as much as somebody who's on there every day. Address changes entered on PS Form 3982 are good for 18 months, so don't forget that either. All right, and use only one PS Form 3982 for each row of letter separations. So for each row, use one. Don't use them per street or something like that. Unless like it says here, unless a large number of removals warrant additional such cards. Depending on what those, you may have some that may fall into that, like large apartment complexes or something like that. This is the 3982 we're talking about. Okay, used to be you come in here and you'd check this, you'd check one of these, you would write all this information in, family, individual, business, you date all that. Now we have a label. Okay, so we're going to go back up here to the label. I highlighted some aspects on here that might be good for you to pay attention to. Mainly the stuff that I've modified on this is the stuff that is important to us, okay, so as carriers. So city route, city 9, okay, the start date, that's important. That's when you're going to start forwarding that. All right, individual, is an individual, a family, or a business? If it's an individual like this is, it's going to say Jane Jones. If it's a business, it's going to have the business name. If it is a family, it's only going to say Jones. So make sure that your customers are aware that when they go to fill out that change of address form, that they're selecting correctly. If there's only a couple of them moving out of the house, like a couple kids going off to college, make sure that they're only forwarding individually and not the entire family, so that you don't get somebody mad because their whole family's mail is now getting forwarded to the wrong place. Okay? Take the time to do that correctly. All right. Name on the change. So this is the name on the order. This is the street address that's going to be on your route that is getting forwarded from. Okay. Another important date here is the end date. Okay. If there is an end date, that means that at the end of that date, you go back to delivering Jane Jones's mail back at that address. Okay. Add or modify your forwarding. Regardless of what is add or modify your forwarding. The only two things that stop that is if you get a delete and it says DEL, modify will be MOD. Delete, you will stop forwarding that mail and start delivering it back at this address. If there's an end date after that end date, you will stop forwarding mail and start delivering it back at that address. Okay? We need to know these things. This is part of our job. We need to be doing this. All right? So, all of these other labels and everything down underneath here, they don't really pertain to the letter carrier, more for, I think, office use or the forwarding systems use. I've never had any experience needing to use any of those. Maybe for somebody in the office to look up the forward to figure out if everything's all right on it or something. So here's an example of one from my office. I had two of them that got printed off here. So this one here shows City 2, which is my route. Add date 4/18, start date 4/16. Now look at that, catch that. 4/18 is when it's getting added. 4/16 is the start date. So I need to go back to that mailbox and make sure there's no mail for this individual. There might be 2 days worth of mail sitting in there that I need to pull out and forward now. Okay, this is that ID number that we don't need. I still just blacked it out just to be safe. Name, blacked it out for obvious reasons. First few letters of the name. This is the another one of those numbers we don't use. And then you have your address. Okay, it's very simple. You affix it to this, to your pink card. For another, we also have DPS flags that you can use. You can put the customer name, the address, individual, family, or business on there. You can use these for hold mail. There are also other cards that get used for that too. Resume delivery, your forwarding start date. You can put all that kind of stuff in there, special instructions, all that stuff. Your office should have some of these, or they at least have the capability to get them. So if your office doesn't have them and you want them, bring it up. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything on here that I've got. Quick as I could slap it together. Get in that M41, read up on some of this stuff so that you know how to do your job. All right. Yeah, that's it. So be safe out there, and I'll see you guys on the street.